This podcast is produced and managed by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, Australia's independent video and podcast company. We do the podcasting hard bits so you don't have to. We make podcasts easy. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.
You are listening to episode 5 of Wellness Fridays with Coach Joy Karen.
Let's talk well-being and mental health. Whether you're an aspiring coach, content creator, or podcaster, you need to take care of yourself as well. Wellness Friday with Coach Joy Karen.
What's up, pod friends? It's me again, Joy Karen, your creativity coach. Wellness Fridays is a weekly show created for podcasters and content creators. This show aims to talk about creativity, inspiration, and overall well-being so you can keep on doing what you love to do. I would like to thank my podcast management group, Miko of Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, and your amazing team for this platform and for the opportunity to spread the spark of creativity all over, so more and more people can do what they love most as they hashtag sparkle within. All right. Do you know how powerful a story is? It can inspire, transform, and connect with many people in more ways than one. But the most powerful story of them all is just right under your nose. Your story is beautifully unique. The question is, when will you give yourself permission to share yours? In this episode, we're going to talk about how to share stories that last and truly capture the hearts of listeners through authenticity and vulnerability. All right, let's begin. Storytelling is the most powerful tool in any kind of discipline. Great stories has the ability to capture, engross, and inspire listeners. That is why storytelling has been around since we could speak. It has transformed itself from song, poetry, plays, books, films, and podcasts like this. So I'll let you in on a little secret. We are all storytellers. In your lifetime, most probably have shared more than 1,000 stories to your family, to your friends, to your partners, to everyone. And even today, I'm sure that you have posted on social media, messaged a friend, or called someone. Each one of this is a form of storytelling. And you also have that power to capture, engross, and inspire. So let me ask you, when was the last time that you shared your story, your life, your experiences, your challenges, your wins? Nobody else's but your own. When was it? So let me share you my story. When I was still living with my mom and dad, I can vividly remember how often I share with them how my day went. No matter how tired I was, they will always be there waiting for me to share and to listen to the story that I will be sharing with them. And they will always have time to sit down and listen to my rants and raves of how my day went. I would share how my students made me laugh in class or made me frustrated in class, or how tiring it is to be the only guidance counselor for around 1,000 students. These were among the many stories that I've shared with them. But the memory that stayed with me is how they listened and how they made time as I share my dreams and frustrations in life. Looking back, I appreciate how much they love me by listening to me, and to be honest, it made a huge impact on my self-worth. My mom and dad would listen to me and share their knowledge as they watched me eat dinner before retiring to bed. It was truly a precious bonding moment for us, and up till now, my dad still remembers the stories I shared with him years and years before. Now, since I'm living here apart from my parents, we would call each other on the phone and we could still talk to each other for an hour or so. And I'm always grateful for this experience because these moments taught me to be brave, to share my own story, and to own my story. Authenticity and vulnerability makes a story stand out. It is not the eloquence of words that stayed, but the emotions that has been tapped. And with my experience with my parents, it is not in the grandest gesture of how I eloquently shared my story, but the emotions that stayed with me. That warm, fuzzy feeling of being safe and being heard. When someone shares their story, a story that truly comes from deep within, it sticks with us and we genuinely feel it. And once it comes from that space of authenticity and vulnerability, it has the power to inspire, heal, and change lives. There has been 1,000 storytellers that has changed, healed, and inspired us throughout the years. One of them is Maya Angelou, who said, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." I cannot imagine a life without Maya, with the 7 autobiographies that she wrote exceptionally well, all the courage and the daring confidence that she had to share her story, that has truly come from a beautiful and authentic space, a place in her heart. More than all the books, the stories, the plays, the songs that she created, she gave us the best gift anyone could have. It is letting us know that we are not alone in this journey that we call life. We are not alone in experiencing all the struggles and wins in our day to day lives. Her bravery in sharing her story created more brave storytellers who are continually changing the world. And that is, for me, her greatest contribution of them all. Sharing your story helps you and your listener as well. You may not be aware, but it truly is a two-way deal. In sharing your story, you can do more than just inspire and teach. According to Very Well Mind, there are many things or positive gains from telling, listening to, and sharing stories. So let me share with you 3 of them. First, it can boost listening skills and foster imagination. In this day and age, we are so caught up with everything in life.
We will be right back.
Are you passionate to help other podcasters? Wanted to connect to growth minded podcasters and service providers? The Podcast Creators Society is now open for new members. Head over to www.podcastcreatorsociety.com/community. Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
Life, and most especially how to make a living. We often forget to truly listen to ourselves and to tap our imaginations. But with storytelling, both are maximized as we learn to truly listen and use our imagination to create the story in our minds. 2. Sharing your story increases empathy and memory retention. When we connect with the characters of a story or the message of the story, we also trigger the brain to see the experiences that we had that is similar to the message or the characters in the story. It is not in the facts or the eloquence of the words. It is in the emotion behind the story that sticks. And number 3, increase positive emotions. How we tell our story matters. That's why it is important to be mindful of how we talk to ourselves as well. Our intention, our internal dialogue matters, and it greatly affects the way we tell our story, how we view our story, whether we see ourselves as the hero or the villain. Reasonable amount of positivity and optimism is greatly important, and it greatly affects how we share our story. So now, how do you share your story? Sharing our story doesn't just require you to be an open book and to blabber all things about yourself. It also pushes us to work on a few things, like intention. Ask yourself, how can your story positively impact others? When we set our intention, it helps us to be accountable, and it allows us to take control of our choices and our life. In short, intention allows us, or setting our intention allows us and helps us to own our story. Next is readiness. What part of your story are you ready to share? Readiness helps us tune into our own self, our own voice. It also allows us to check within, connecting truly with ourselves first, so we can make a difference on how we share the story of our lives. Lastly, purpose. Impressing and expressing are two very different things. It comes from two different places and evokes very different emotions as well. Knowing which one you're going for helps you tune in to the bigger picture, to the bigger meaning of why you want to share your story. Not everyone is fond of sharing their own story because of fear and so many other reasons. But I want you to hear this if you are that person who thinks so, that is being blocked by so many hindrances and so many doubts. If your story is truly worth listening to, let me assure you that once you tap into your intention, once you truly are ready and you see the purpose of sharing your story, there will always be someone out there who is ready and willing to hear your story. And also, may this episode remind you and help you to search and journey within, to discover your big why, the beautiful story and the message of your life. Definitely, a lot of people are looking out and waiting for you to share yours. So, pod friends, embrace your journey, and you will see the gem in your story. That's it for today. And I hope this episode sparked something awesome in you. If you'd like to listen more of Wellness Fridays, you can go ahead and click subscribe to Wellness Fridays with Coach Joy Karen. And if you want to connect with me, I'm on Facebook. You can just simply search Joy Karen, the Creativity Coach. I would also like to invite you to join us on a community of podcasters helping podcasters, where all of the things that you are looking for, that you might need as an aspiring podcaster, or if you already have your own podcast but still looking for that push, that inspiration, and that big help, that guidance, so you can maximize this platform of sharing your story, go ahead and join us and search Podcast Creator Society on Google. And if you also are interested, you can also join our Podcast Freelancers Hub. If you see that this episode is worth sharing, please do so. It will help us reach more podcasters and content creators, and they might be needing that spark of creativity, inspiration, and overall well-being. And again, I really appreciate you for listening up to the end of this podcast. And I hope to see you again next week. And once again, I'm here, your creativity coach, Joy Karen, reminding you to truly journey within and appreciate that gem in your story so you can hashtag sparkle within. Thanks, guys. See you next week. Bye.
Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.